Buenas tardes. Today I want to discuss what motivates me to learn Spanish. In my position in the emergency department, we often deal with patients that are in crisis mode due to accidents or unexpected illness. And it can be frightening if your primary language is English or your only language is English. But if you come in and you have very little background in speaking English or no background at all, it can be very frightening with all this going on around you. You're frightened, you're in pain. An example I had was the other day I had a patient come in. It was an old injury. When I say old, I mean approximately 3 weeks, and he had already had surgery, but he'd had several of his fingers amputated. And when he came in, I could tell he was very nervous because he was experiencing a new type of tingling and pain, and he was concerned that he wasn't healing properly, and he's scheduled for another surgery later in the week, and he's going to have multiple surgeries due to the extensive injuries. And his mother was with him, and I spoke to both of them, and he explained to me that his mother spoke poco inglés. And I smiled, and I told him that's okay, that I spoke poco español. And he then, I explained to him that I was starting Spanish class and how excited I am to learn their language. And he then, in turn, interpreted that to his mother, and she smiled. And I said, but I will never be able to speak it as beautifully as you do and fluently as you do it. It just sounds beautiful. When I speak it, it will probably sound comical, but hopefully I will be able to communicate better with my patients. And he smiled, and he interpreted that to his mother. And so then as we went on, he was explaining to me that he had very complicated dressing changes that had to be done daily. And I asked him how he was doing this at home with one hand, and he explained that his mother was helping him. So I invited his mother over to help us, and she smiled, and she came over, and she would show me things that she did and how she had been trained before they were discharged from the hospital by the surgeon. And the three of us really interacted, and the patient really began to loosen up. He became very more calm. I could tell he wasn't as frightened. And I noticed that I was building a rapport with them. When they were getting ready to leave, the patient said to me, he said it in Spanish, he said, and I'm sorry, he said, you are a good nurse, you are a good person. His mother had said to tell me that. And I looked at him kind of strange because he said it in Spanish, and then he told me what it meant in English. And so I tried to repeat it back in Spanish, but needless to say, I messed it up, and they both laughed. And when I did that, his mother tried to repeat it back in English. And we both just laughed, and she hugged me. And to me, that was motivating to me, that I even built the rapport with them, but it made me even more excited to learn to speak Spanish. I really want to be able to communicate with my patients and their families, and it showed me how accepting they are, and how much they appreciated that I even put an effort forth and tried. Adios.